Hey, what's up YouTube? Thanks for joining me today. Today I've got a special review. I've been wanting to do a review for the T2i and the T3i and especially the T1i. So all three of those cameras. If any of you guys got those cameras, I've got a T2i here with me today. Bam. It took a little while to get here because the train derailed. Anyway, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to use all these functions. I'm going to go through all the buttons. I'm going to show you how to access your exposure compensation. I'm going to show you the professional shooting modes that are on this camera. I could show you on my camera, but since most of you guys have T3Is and 2Ti's, this is gonna be ideal. That way you can get a hands-on review and look at what I'm going to do and how to work your camera. So now that I got it in my hands, I'm gonna go ahead and start showing you how to use all the buttons. I'm gonna show you how to access a lot of the features that we've been covering in a lot of my videos. So I know a lot of you have been asking for that, so finally the day is here. All right, let's take a look. The T2i does come with just the body or with a kit lens. In this case, this is a kit lens that comes with it. It's an 18 to 55 millimeter with automatic focus and obviously manual focus. It also does have an image stabilizer that you can use, which is a great thing to have. Now, again, if you guys know me and seen a lot of my posts, my beef with lenses that are a variable aperture, I really don't like them, but for the purposes of learning, I think it's fine that way you guys get to understand how lenses work. This lens is an aperture range between 3.5 and 5.6. So that means if you're zoomed out at 18, then your aperture will drop down to 3.5. But as soon as you zoom in to 55, then what's going to happen is your lens, is going to change your aperture to a 5.6. So even if you set your aperture in aperture priority mode, let's say to 3.5, but you zoom in, your lens is going to change that automatically because it doesn't allow you that 2.8 constant aperture. I just want to make a point that the T2i, T3i, and the T1i pretty much are going to look the exact same way. So what I'm going to show you here will serve for you T1i users and T3i users. The menu at the back is pretty simple to access. After today's show, you will definitely be familiar with all the settings and how to get to them. Let's start by using the quick menu here. If we select this Q button that we've got right here, it'll access the menu. So now you can use these buttons to scroll around. As you can see what I'm doing here, I'm cycling through the different setting options that are available on the camera. That way you don't have to go deep into the menu by clicking this button. You can access everything just right here. So let's start with exposure compensation, since this is probably one of the bigger ones that everybody wants to know how to access. So you can cycle again using these buttons here. And here we are on exposure compensation, and this is what it looks like. So for this demonstration, I'm going to switch over to AV mode. So let's access that exposure compensation. Click there, and you can see that we can darken our image, okay, and we can brighten it up. Okay, now also if you notice as you cycle through the different modes that one item disappears from the top here. Don't forget, each mode takes away one option that you would otherwise have in manual. So if we move to the next mode, here's our shutter mode. You no longer see your aperture here because it won't give you that. You do have control your ISO and your shutter speed. So this is TV mode. If we move to program mode, both your shutter and your aperture options are gone and you're only left with your ISO. So if we go back all the way up to manual, everything's available. Okay, so hitting the quick menu button again lets you access the menu. That way you can cycle through the different options here. You can go to your automatic white balance here. You can cycle through all the different white balance options that are available on the camera. Here, let's go to the metering modes that are available on your camera, and this is how you change it. See, here's all the different metering modes. Here's your evaluative, your partial, and your spot metering. Okay, another way to access your exposure compensation is by using this dedicated button that's on your camera. So if you don't want to, pick up your camera and look through the screen while you're shooting in here, you can hold this down and move your exposure compensation. So it's quick access to it. So instead of having to push this button and come up and cycle through the different options to this here, you can just hold this button down while turning your mode dial. So it's a pretty easy way to get a hold of your exposure compensation. The other option that you have available here is your different shooting modes. So here is your single shooting. Here is a continuous shooting. So if you're doing sports and you want to capture a lot of shots and in a continuous burst, you can set it to this and it'll take a few pictures at one time. Here is your self timer remote. If you have a remote, external remote, you plug it in and leave it on this setting. Your 2-second self timer, and a self timer continuation. So you can change how long you want that timer to be. You can go all the way up to 10 seconds or 2. You know, this one leaves you 2, this one leaves you a little bit more options to change. Okay, so another way to access all these options, or most of these options, you can do so by just hitting these buttons here. If you access the menu by pushing the Q button, then all these buttons allow you to move about the different functions that are available on the camera. But if you exit out of the quick menu, then all these buttons become dedicated buttons for you to reach, for instance, your white balance. So instead of having to go into quick menu and going to your white balance here, then all you have to do is just click this button, as it's dedicated to it. So it's a quick access to it. Same thing with your timer. If you want to change the kind of drive mode that's available on your camera, then you can cycle through the different options just by hitting that button. Also, your picture styles. This is where you can quickly access it by pushing that button right there. And then finally, your AF modes, your automatic focus modes. Here's your one shot, your AI focus, and your AI servo. So it's really quick. A lot of options are available on the T2i and the T3i to access all these functions really easily. But again, this will meet a lot of your pro amateur needs, these cameras. That's why I really like them, and I push a lot of you guys to buy these cameras. It's just because they're so versatile. They're inexpensive. They pack a big punch with that 18 megapixel sensor on there and the 1080p video. Another good feature is this button right here, dedicated for live view mode. This is what the 7D has, but the T3i, I believe the 60D has it, and the T2i have it. So by pushing this button, it'll automatically take you to live view mode, so you can start recording video, or you can start taking pictures by just looking through the live view mode. Another button dedicated to accessing your AF point selection is right here at the top. So by clicking this button, it takes you to this menu where you can cycle through the different focus point selections. So this is manual. If you keep turning it, it'll take you all around the different focus points, and then obviously it'll allow you to select an automatic selection as well. Okay, so another button available so you don't have to scroll through that quick menu, as I've been showing you guys, is your ISO. So a lot of these features that you want to access just by pushing one button is available on the T2i and the T3i and even the T1i. Granted that the T3i and T2i have a few more buttons that you can, dedicated buttons that you can access quickly.
Okay guys, so I'm out of here. I hope you guys learned a lot with everything I showed you today, and if you haven't, please leave me your questions and comments in the section below, and I'll be sure to get back to you right away. Please visit my Facebook page, facebook.com/creativeutv, right there. Go check it out. I can't wait to see some more photos. I can't wait to give away more stuff. If you guys have time, make sure you visit us on Facebook, Twitter, and Blogger. So if you don't have time to watch these videos, you can definitely read them if you like that sort of stuff. Anyways guys, I'll see you later. Thanks again. Hope you learned a lot today. Peace.
Okay.